Okay, well, hi everyone. We're here in the dark, in the Answer Center, at the Ark Encounter. Actually, the whole nation's in the dark, spiritually dark. Actually, dark economically now, right, too. So we want to give you a very intriguing behind-the-scenes look at the operation of our 70-foot by 22-foot LED screen that right now we only use at 10% brightness.
Correct, yep.
It is absolutely incredible. I have Doug from our AV team here, and Doug is going to be able to give you all the detail, fascinating details. So,
it's pretty...
Doug, you're a wealth of information, so tell us a bit about this screen.
All right, well, as you said, it's 70 feet wide by 22 feet tall. It's made up of 3,080 individual panels that each panel is loaded with LEDs that create the pixels that you see that are lit up on the wall.
So 3,800 panels.
Panels, yep.
And how many of those little LEDs would there be on the panels total?
On each panel?
No, on the total.
Oh, it's 4,480 pixels wide by 1,460, if I don't have my numbers backwards, some of the numbers backwards, but I think it's 1,460 tall.
So that's millions?
It's millions, yeah. It's about 7 million pixels total, roughly, give or take.
So 7 million of those little LED,
little dots, yep.
LED lights.
Yeah, so it's kind of confusing because a lot of people talk about HD 1080p, which is HD, or they'll talk about 4K. Our resolution width-wise on the wall is wider than 4K. Cinema 4K, it's wider than Cinema 4K, but it's not as tall as 4K. So if somebody asks if we have a 4K screen, we technically don't because we don't have the height, but it's wider.
So the answer is yes and no.
Yes and no, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes and no.
we're over width, under height, just because we have this custom screen.
So we use this for all sorts of things, like our Christmas programs.
Yep.
We put up backdrops on here that look 3D.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, this is not using the full screen.
No,
right?
it's not using the full screen. This is actually playing one of our videos that we show at the Ark, which was actually produced in-house by the video department here. And it's shown at a 16 by 9 format, and our screen is wider than that because of the wide pixels.
So we could show them how wide the screen really is here.
Yep.
In a moment. So we'll have our videographer come up on stage, and we'll show the full screen image. Oh, there, you can see the full screen image from down there. And what I'll do as well is I'll get you to stand at one end, I'll stand at one end, and you're going to take one of those panels up and show them what they look like?
I'll show everybody the panel.
Okay.
So,
you sure you can get it back on again?
I think we can get it back on.
And you can
it might not be upside down.
Okay. So as we're coming up here to look at this, I will stand at one end, and Doug will stand at the other. Now, this is social distancing at its best.
Yeah, 70-foot minimum.
You couldn't have better social distancing than this. So we are 70 feet apart. Is that right, Doug? 70 feet apart?
Yep, 70 feet right here.
And down where I am, there's a panel missing because Doug took it off the wall. He's going to show you that in a moment. And you can sort of see the wires coming out of there. But before we show you that panel and show you how that works, we're going to take you around behind the screen as well, because you would think there'd be millions and millions of wires behind the screen, but actually Doug's going to race down there and give you a little talk as to what's behind there.
Yeah, what we did here, we wanted to have it off the wall so we'd actually have a crossover spot for people to be able to go from one side of the backstage to the other. And everybody thought, oh, you know, you're going to end up with a mess back here with this screen. But if you look, this is it's super clean. We don't have to worry about messing it up or anything. And the only wires that we have going across are on these cross tees. So that carries electric signal on some of them, and then some of them are the video signal. And this thing takes a lot of electric. There's 36 individual 210 volt or 208 volt electric circuits powering this thing. Now they're not full power right now because everything's at 10%, but if it was full white and full brightness, this thing would really be creating some heat.
So Doug, this screen, I know when we built the stage, we had to build it to certain specifications because the screen's so heavy, correct?
Right, correct. This screen weighs almost 11,000 pounds.
11,000 pounds. 11,000 pounds, you're talking like 5 ton.
Oh, it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. So we actually, through the stage, there's concrete, there's beams that go under the stage, and they're transferred all the way to the basement, to the floor of the basement, to support the weight of this.
And this is a concrete stage.
This has a 4-inch concrete slab poured stage for.
And then the
floor.
stage built on top of that.
Yep.
And then the panel down here.
Oh yeah. So let me grab that.
We're going to show you one of these panels and how they work.
So this is one of the panels here. And as you can see, there's not a lot to it. But you can look at the pixels there. Individual dots are each individual pixel that will light up. And these give
And there's
you...
7 million of those on this screen.
Yeah, there's about 7 million. Yeah, there's this panel here, there's 3,080 of these individual panels. And as you look at the back, there's not
Hey,
a
I
lot
thought you
to
said
it.
there wasn't a whole lot to it. That looks like a whole lot to it to me.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot that we can work on. If we have one of them that goes bad, we can actually send them out, and they'll replace some of the components on them. But generally, you snap it off of there. It's actually held on by magnets. So we have a special tool that actually screws into the panel. It looks like a handle, and this will actually kind of pop the magnets loose. And they're on there pretty
How
strong.
about you put that back on?
Okay,
And
I'll
then
give somebody
we will go.
I'm going to set my microphone down.
And you can pop that back on, and then we'll go down to where the screen is operated from and show you some of the phenomenal things they can do with it. So we'll take you back to the control board, and the brain of it is actually up on the mezzanine. So, oh, look at that, it came on. You must have done that right. And then it just magnetic.
Now this one's a little tricky. I should have did one somewhere else because this trim that's on the bottom here kind of is hard to deal with. Because the lip here. There you go. And that's it. And then when you step away, nobody would actually know that those panels are there. And when the wall goes to black and you're standing on the floor of the stage or the floor of the auditorium, most people have no idea there's even an LED wall up here.
Right, they don't realize that. Yeah.
Can you go ahead and go to black real quick?
So there we are. Yeah, if you come in and look at that, you just think it's a black wall.
And now go to full white if you can.
Let's see what we'll do here. And we're going to take you back to the control panel.
We'll see if we can get it full white.
Full
They have
white?
some graphics full
Okay.
white so they could see how bright it would be. We have graphics kind of loaded in it, so white isn't one of the normal graphics we would show because it's bright and obnoxious.
So we have an operator back there
We do. So
doing
we'll-
this for us. But while they're figuring that out, because it's pretty complex, let's walk on down there.
Oh, there we go. That's full white. So when
Okay, well,
she
we'll
walks
come
around
around
the
the
front,
corner
she'll
and
be able
we'll
to
see
see
the
it.
full. When you say full white, that's still 10% brightness?
It's still not full brightness. It's just the brightest that it will be for us right now.
Okay, so that's 10% brightness, because we only use it at 10%.
Yep.
Now, someone might ask, okay, well, why did you get one that strong if you don't need the other 90%?
Yeah, so actually, most of the LEDs are manufactured, they already are bright to begin with. LEDs makes light so much brighter than an incandescent type of a fixture. And so,
we have that screen, and then we have to adjust it for the fact we're inside.
right, yeah, because they sell these screens for outdoor use. This wouldn't be one, it would be considered a rental. This is an permanent install type of screen. Rental screens are generally made with the cheaper LEDs because LEDs are pretty much all manufactured in China. And then depending on the specs of the corporation that is building a wall, they'll ask for a grade like grade 1 type LEDs or grade 3. And those are, grade 1 are going to be more color consistent and even brightness. Where you get the cheaper LEDs, they start getting color shifting a lot more.
Okay. So, and this screen itself actually is produced in the United States, right?
It is, yes. This is actually, it's made by Nanolumens, which is out of Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, so it's an American-made product,
Yep, it is.
which is good. So we'll come around the back here, and you can tell us, our AV person, what they're
All right,
to do
so we
here,
got
what you want.
We got Rick at the console right now, and we can just kind of walk through a little bit of what the Green Hippo video processor can do. And You know, as I've said before, we've got a few different computers that are running graphics. We got ProPresenter. We can do PowerPoint. We can do, you know, another computer if it's got Keynote. We can do that as well. But our in-house setup is pretty much Green Hippo and ProPresenter. And so with Green Hippo, I think you got Green Hippo going, and then we've got a Barco video wall processor that will do the video switching and kind of picture-in-picture views that we do. So if you want to talk about some of that and do some.
I didn't know you were going to put me on the spot. Sure. Well, right here, we are obviously demoing Green Hippo, as Doug had mentioned. This is actually the Hippotizer, is what we call this. This is where we have the control surface. We can basically bring up multiple layers. We can even layer things, obviously, on top of one another. So let's just say that we wanted to, put like a graphic, let's say, I don't know, let's say we want to pull up Southern Salvation and one of their, Steve Hess and whatnot up on screen. We can go ahead and put them on top of or even blend it through other graphics that we have going on. We can also pull in live feeds. If we had a camera that is on, say the piano player, we could go ahead and put him up there and do effects like in live time. If you guys have heard of green screening before, we can go ahead and have Hippo automatically erase that background and replace it with something else and then blend it into something else on the screen. If that's not enough, if we don't like, say, the colors of something that's on the screen, let's say what I'm playing right now, the graphics are just not matching, the color that we're hoping to achieve, for instance. Let's say that red, I don't like it because it's just a little bit too, stark of a contrast. I can come in here real quick. We have like RGB controls, and let's say I want to get rid of some of this and I want to pull out some, greenish blue tint. I can go ahead and ask those colors to form and mesh to, whatever it is I'm trying to match. In this particular case, I would want to take away the green, add some red and blue, and, we can just sit here and play until our heart is content, basically. So, what else would you like to know?
So basically that's the Green Hippo, so that's a graphics engine, basically. And then the other component we have here that you're looking at on the right side is the interface for the Barco processor, which is basically our video switcher. And if you look here, you can take basically any input that we can throw at it, whether it's our ProPresenter computers, video camera feed from our live video guys setup.
Can we show the Christmas one that we used at Christmas? Oh, there it is. Hey, great minds think alike. There we are.
Yeah, so on top of that, we can also overlay other things. We can stretch that image. We can do, many things. We've got kind of our generic list of stuff that we do on a day-to-day basis already stored in
How about the one with the arc door?
Arc door, yeah.
Let's find that one and bring it up. And, when you're sitting here out in the audience, they look three-dimensional. That looks three-dimensional. It looks like you're actually in the arc, and it's going to be hard to tell as they're watching it on the video here, but it looks three-dimensional. And then we got our screens on each side. So as we do our presentations, they come up there on the screens.
Yeah, and if this screen wasn't at 10%, it would be so bright, it would basically give people a headache because the room is at a certain level. That screen would be so bright, people would get headaches just from looking at it.
So that sort of walked them through pretty well the workings of the LED screen.
Yep. Now, behind the scenes, there's even more. If you go up into the brain, which we looked at, there's the actual processor up there. So, like I said earlier, these are all remotely operated. If we had to store all of the nanolumens processors and everything, we would just have too much sitting on this front of house desk.
Okay, so up on our mezzanine up
Yep.
here, in fact, we did a tour of behind the Answer Center, and when they looked up there, they would have seen the brain, what
Yep.
you call the brain, that runs all of this. So up there on that mezzanine, in a room there, we have all of these racks.
Yep.
And what do you call it, the Hippo?
Well, there's the Barco E2, and then there's the Hippo, Green Hippo, and there's on top of that, there is the Nanolumen processors, which Nanolumen is the manufacturer of the wall. So they have their own proprietary processor that actually takes all that information and spits it out to the actual wall itself.
So
There's a
people
lot.
just walk in here, sit down, see the screen. Oh, that's nice. Isn't that pretty?
Yeah.
And watch us use it. They have no idea what goes on behind the scenes
No,
and
it's-
what really makes all this work.
There's a lot, and there's a lot to take it. A lot of people it takes to keep it running.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a talent that people have. You have to have a mindset for that kind of interest. A lot of people, they're not interested in pushing those kind of buttons
Right.
and seeing that. But for the people who are into it, like Rick and Caitlin, they do a wonderful job at what they do down here and keeping it going. And
It's amazing the talent the Lord has brought to this
oh,
ministry.
it is, yeah.
I mean, I continue just to be amazed and thank the Lord. So if you enjoy these behind-the-scenes programs, Monday to Friday, while the Creation Museum and the Ark Encounter are closed to the public, and the New Beginning movie that we're showing here, we produced it,
Yep.
actually, and
In-house.
Doug was a part of that, and we show it here each day when we're open.
And that's actually what was
And-
playing at the beginning.
It's absolutely spectacular the way it's done. Tell people if you want to see this incredible screen, I mean, there wouldn't be that many auditoriums that have a screen this quality, would they?
Oh no. This is hard to come by. It's made some raves across the AV world, and we actually have some publications going to do a report on it. So
So it's sort of unique.
it is, yeah.
Yeah.
This scale.
This
you know,
scale
yep.
for what it is, the technology.
Yep.
But you'll have to come to the Answer Center, come to visit the Ark Encounter. As soon as we're open, as soon as we're allowed to open, we'll be blasting that across the in and out, of course, and letting everyone know. But please pray God moves in this nation to get this nation back again so our staff can come back working so that we can have all these visitors coming in here again. And with that, look forward to joining you on another Behind the Scenes, 7 p.m. Mondays to Fridays while the Ark Encounter and the Creation Museum are closed to the public. Have a great day.